boils down to, if your sheriff, and if your local law enforcement, and if your local county commissioners and county attorneys will take their oath seriously, ask them, did you take an oath? What was it to? What did it say? And would you give your life and job to keep your oath? What did the Founding Fathers say? Chaz reminded us of that very beautifully. We pledge our lives, we mutually pledge our lives and fortunes and sacred honor to this holy cause. Ask your local officials if they're willing to do the same. If they're not, sounds like you've got work to do to replace them. Okay? You've got to replace them. Now, a couple other things from here. This is going to surprise you. Now, quite honestly, this decision, I hope most of you know about it, but I know you don't know much about this case. It was purposely hidden from you. Remember, this was two small-town sheriffs beating the federal government, beating the Clinton administration at the United States Supreme Court on the issue of state sovereignty and local autonomy. Okay? Now, he reinforces that with this. We have held, however, this is the United States Supreme Court talking to the federal government, talking to the United States Congress. We have held, however, that state legislatures are not subject to federal direction. Wait a minute. The state legislatures are not subject to federal direction? Don't you wish your state legislature knew that? Give them all one of these. Oh, but your county legislatures are subject to federal direction, right? Oh, your city legislatures. No, they're not either. Why? Because they're political subdivisions of the state. Oh, I know, your school board is subject to federal direction. They're not either. And in fact, the Founding Fathers put the 10th Amendment in there with this purpose in mind, and you can boil it down to this. The 10th Amendment, you ignorant politicians, means this. Just in case you think we forgot something, you can't do that either. Now, this is another thing. In this decision, the United States Supreme Court tells the federal government, the federal government, we held, may not compel the states to enact or administer a federal regulatory program.
Okay.
Now wait. Oh, now wait a minute. You're getting ahead of me. When I say a federal regulatory program, what comes to mind?
Okay.
Of course. Folks, nationalistic, Marxist healthcare has no place in this country. And they can do it in Washington, D.C. all they want. They just can't do it in Idaho, or Arizona, or Washington, or Oregon, or Minnesota, or Wisconsin, where I just came from. California. So let's put it this way, folks. If Obamacare takes hold in Idaho, it's your fault and it's your state's fault because they do not have to do it. And of all the states that are suing to stop Obamacare, we already won on that issue. Look at this case. All your lawyers that are suing on this, all they have to do is look at this case and ask for summary judgment based on the Mac Prince lawsuit. And we're going to go further with this. You'll see. You'll see what I'm talking about. Residual state sovereignty, Scalia says, was also implicit, of course, on the Constitution's conferral upon Congress of not all governmental powers, but only discrete, enumerated ones. Wow. That's powerful stuff. They only have enumerated powers. Where do we see what those powers are? Article 1, Section 8, United States Constitution. They have 17, maybe 18 assignments. Can they go outside that? Can they be creative? Can they just say, people are so stupid, we're just going to have to violate the Constitution and take care of their health care for them? They can't do that unless you people and your states, somebody's throwing shoes at me now, all right, unless you people stand for state sovereignty. You know what? I always wanted to do this. All right. Okay. Now, state sovereignty is our solution, remember? It's what we are as a state. Do you really think the founding fathers got together and said, we're going to form a new government and we're going to make a strong central government that can control our air, our land, our finances, all our money belongs to them, our education, and our health care? It was formed just specifically to stop all that. They didn't want to create another King George III that we just fought a war to stop. That would be nonsense. And that we can't even control our own geography. Arizona is 85% owned by the federal government. My county, Grant County, 95% owned by the federal government. Arizona isn't Arizona. And what's Idaho? It's got to be up there. 60 to 80% we hear. Utah, 70 to 80, depending on who you're talking to. Nevada's 87%. Wyoming's way up there. Oregon's 53%. They don't even own half. You know what? New Hampshire is 2%. Something's wrong with that picture. Yeah, live free or die. No kidding. So it's time we take back our land. Utah is already fighting to take back their land from the federal government using the principle of eminent domain. Maybe we ought to start getting hold of that idea here in Idaho and other places. Idaho should be run by Idahoans.